Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another Cold War Zombies video. Today is February 1st, as you see. Treyarch sent out a tweet about an update for the release of the new DLC1 map, Firebase Z. So I just want to go over a couple things, see what time, and just relate to people just in case. If you're not on Twitter, a lot of people maybe don't have time to check Twitter every maybe minute of the day or hour, but earlier today, about 3 hours ago, they sent out a tweet, and I'm just going to review it. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm more interested in the East Coast times. And again, I do this sometimes also so I can kind of read it and then also relate back to people. So it says our new Black Ops Cold War content update will go live 11 p.m. Pacific time, February 3rd, and that's 2 a.m. Eastern time. So that's the time that it would be available for me. Now, as a side note, if you are on the East Coast and it's going to get released at 2 a.m., keep in mind the download time and then even the time for the download to hit your console. You might see a couple minutes or even maybe like a half an hour difference or something like that, because 2 a.m. it goes live, but some consoles, or depending on location, in my past experience, it might take a little bit later for it to hit your console. And then keep in mind, depending on your internet speed, you can see another maybe hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on your internet speed. It doesn't say the size of the update. Maybe they'll send that out tomorrow. Maybe they're just working on finalizing a couple of things. But DLC maps, I'm thinking maybe about anywhere from 10 to 20 gigabytes, maybe, and then maybe some updates and new maps and stuff like that. So I would imagine, if I had to take an educated guess and don't take my word on it, maybe like 15, 20 gigabytes, maybe 10, 20 gigabytes around that area. And then once the content gets downloaded, then at 9 a.m. Pacific time the following day, which is be Friday, because the update's Thursday the 4th for me. So then Friday the 5th is when you're going to be able to do the Easter egg steps, the main Easter egg steps, which should be, I don't know if they're going to follow the same, I guess, guideline as Die Machine, whereas it kind of was like a very easy, basic Easter egg step. I kind of prefer it because it reminded me almost even like a couple from Black Ops 4, Alpha Omega was kind of an easy one, and I usually gauge that by how possible it is to do it in a public lobby, because of my time and scheduling, and when I decide to play, sometimes you get very lucky and get a really strong lobby. I would say maybe like 90% of the time you don't, but then there's a small like 10%. You get into a good lobby, you guys can do high rounds or do the Easter egg steps. Whereas in Firebase Z, I'm hoping it's going to be around that same type. Now, the thing about the zombies community, and sometimes it's the zombies community, sometimes it's the toxic zombie YouTubers that I always mention. They were saying they want a bigger, more involving Easter egg step, but that's everything that we've gotten up until this point, aside from Die Machine, and people have just complained about it. I prefer, and that might be why it was so successful, Die Machine. Obviously, the gameplay was great, but my personal preference, maybe a little bit tougher than, obviously, a little bit tougher than Die Machine, or along the same lines of Die Machine. I know Die Machine, you can probably get it done in probably like a half an hour, if that. I got it done a couple times. I've been averaging almost like an hour or so in a random public lobby. I never squad up with anyone. But I would prefer it somewhere along those lines, maybe a little bit tougher, because it feels more fulfilling. And if I had to gauge it, I would say the Extinction, even though it was like a different type of Easter egg, it was difficult and it still took some time to get it done. That was like the perfect recipe, I think, in my opinion. I'm trying to think of like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 maps. maybe even Black Ops 1 didn't have Easter eggs, but some of them are too involving, some of the steps, so I kind of prefer what Die Machine was, maybe a little bit tougher, like I said, something maybe along the lines of even Extinction, if you guys remember that from Ghost. That wasn't too bad at all. So that's just as far as the Easter egg steps. And then I did see a couple people mention it's unfortunate a lot of the big channels are going to get a lot of help from data miners that are going to send them the answers either on screen or off screen. Most of them are probably going to get an email to them privately from people in the zombies community that kind of want to get their name out there, or kind of, I call it like, I know it's probably frowned upon nowadays. I almost call it like simping on the bigger channels now. Like they want to do everything to kind of impress the big channels. But it's kind of a shame because I agree with some people, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but like the people that do finish it first in the world, they are getting the most help because they have the most people. They might have people that data mined it for them. So that's an interesting thing. I know there's other zombie games that have done different style Easter eggs, and it's not necessarily trying to figure out the steps, but maybe surviving lockdown areas and stuff like that, rather than getting all the data mined answers. That would be interesting if they did something like that. If they just made it like super difficult, not necessarily the amount of steps, but made it more difficult. Like you have to be in a lockdown area, maybe like your perks get like disabled or something like that. Something different to mix up to kind of see who really are the best in the world or first in the world Easter egg solvers, because it's pretty well known. People, the big channels and other people, even smaller channels that are trying to grow themselves, they're gonna hack and glitch their way to solving the Easter egg. It's been done before. It's probably gonna be done again. So that's all like times and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna also go over real quickly a couple things they tweeted in the last couple of days. They did also send out this diagram or blueprint, as you can see, of the portal, the Omega portal that you kind of use to get around the map. It has a couple of things that you can, I guess what they've used it for in the past, maybe a little bit similar to Alpha Omega. There was a lot of blueprints in that, and Classified with the Wonder Weapons, and even Ted was a part of the blueprints, I believe. And I'm not going to kind of go over it too much, but basically it says that you can go to the Dark Ether or use the portal to mine crystals, get specimens, liquid samples. So I'm trying to think, what in the past have we done where we have to go to a certain area and collect stuff. What is that? Maybe like Drak, maybe even Zetsubo. I believe you have to go a couple places, go in the water to get stuff. I can't think of any other maps, but that's what it reminded me of. If you can only go 30 minutes time travel, that's crazy. I wonder if they had a meter where you could only go in there for a couple amount of time. I wonder if, or if it's gonna be like Warzone, where like it's gonna collapse or something like that. You can only go there for 30 minutes and the circle starts collapsing. That would be kind of awesome. I think it looks like they're getting their feet wet in a couple other modes that they might want to bring to zombies, in my opinion, which is nothing game breaking. I think people have figured that out, that that's the route they're gonna go. They're trying to test some of this stuff, see how people like it, and then maybe expand it in their own modes, in my opinion. Approved for teleportation, weapons that are pack-a-punched, clothing, human restrictions apply. All footwear except sandals. Now, that did come up as a question today on Twitter, and again, it just goes to show how lost a lot of the zombie community is, that like they don't realize how much stuff is now blending all into one storyline. Of course, we have the monster that looks like the Panzer mortar. We have that. We have the loading screens that look like chaos. But it did remind me of Ancient Evil, the Cyclops. Was it a Cyclops? It wasn't a Cyclops, but the monster or the boss from Ancient Evil had sandals on, and it just it's funny because like I try not to get involved because I realize I'm a lot older than everyone. When you're like 19 or 20 or 18, like you can't figure stuff out. There's no way. It's like sending an 18 or 19-year-old on a expedition. There's no way they're gonna get like eaten up alive in the jungle of like um in the jungle of Vietnam. Like it's the same exact thing. Like some people just can't see stuff, and it blows my mind how like it might not mean anything, but basically, and it means that maybe they're just paying homage to it or hinting or um, throwing it back, so to speak, to some of the older maps. But you never know down the road. They could be blending a lot of stuff. Like I said, we have the Panzer Mortar, we have I think it's called a Mushler. I can't remember. That looks like this guy. I'll show you real quick. I think it should be here. And that's the weapon itself, which is going to be called the Ray K84. But where's that boss? They probably got rid of it already, or it might be on. But there was like this guy, how he has like the hands on the back, looks like I think it was called the Mushlers from World War II. How everything is all kind of not necessarily blending the same storyline, but they're taking inspiration from previous games and maps. So I was mentioning today about the sandals, how lost so many people are in the zombies community. Like, and I've said that for a long time now. People can't piece like two thoughts together. Let me go back to it. Does it have it here? Oh wait, I think it was this one. Where it says footwear, all footwear except sandals, paper, and similar materials. It said some. Okay, worn sandals, 2 documented occasions of sandals fusing with feet. So that reminded me of the World War II. No, not World War II. Well, also it did, but reminded me of Ancient Evil. Wasn't this, what was he called? I forget. But the boss had sandals on, and it's kind of like Greek sandals and stuff like that. It reminded me of that. And how people like don't even like see what Treyarch is doing. But I understand some people just like the gameplay. Some people just like well, actually, there's a lot of people just troll on the internet, so that's number one. But then number two, like people just like playing the game, and sometimes I have to learn to sit back. I know it's like you can't send your your dad or your uncle to you in school to help you learn stuff. You just gotta learn it on your own. And sometimes I have to realize I can't just sit there and teach everyone everything, because that could be annoying to people. So it's just funny how to see people think or they can't make two connections together. So that was something that I thought was interesting today. Anyways, the wonder weapon's probably the last thing I'm going to look at, and it is, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but it's basically a ray gun mixed with an AK-47, but I guess because it's 1984, they're calling it 84. And these are the cartridges and magazines, and it looks like it has a power cell that goes into the magazine. And you're probably going to be able to switch these out, similar to another thing that people probably missed, how Infinite Warfare Zombies had the attachments on the front of the gun that you can switch out. Again, it just shows me how lost everyone is, and I kind of like Twitter for that. And I had to learn that, and that was my intention, was to take a back seat, see how people figure stuff out, people's reactions for the first time. So I have to learn that, and today was a good lesson that I have to try and learn to understand that people are so young they can't piece like two thoughts together or two little hints together. And that was very, very interesting. I got to remind myself. But it's just that, like I said, there were a lot of trolls that thought they can figure this stuff out better than other people, and they were challenging me, and then they just kind of disappeared. I guess they ran away like a dog between their tails, so to speak, and they couldn't figure stuff out. Anyways, I'm gonna probably leave it at that. Like I said, just to sum it up real quick, I just want to let people know that the new map is coming out Thursday in the morning, early morning, and then Friday you can be able to do the Easter egg. It's going to have a teleporter. It's going to be in Vietnam. It's going to have a AK-47 style wonder weapon. Might be more wonder weapons in the map. But for now, that is it. And we're probably going to get maybe a storyline trailer. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I'm figuring they're probably going to do it tomorrow. I don't think they would wait till Wednesday. Tuesday will get the most hype. And then Wednesday, I don't know what they're going to do on Wednesday. But Tuesday, tomorrow, I'm thinking some type of trailer tomorrow to get the most hype. Oh, and then one last thing, I'm giving away COD points. I'll link that below so you can enter. If you're on Xbox, it helps me out the most. Not even YouTube necessarily, but it helps the most out on Xbox. It'll have the instructions in there if you want to watch it. So it's going to be 3 winners, each winner winning 1,000 COD points. I'm going to pull that, I believe, Sunday or Monday. I'm going to probably aim for Sunday. Worst case, Monday, if more people want to enter and stuff like that. If not, all you have to do, I'm not even going to mention it in here. I'm just going to tell you I'm going to link it, because then I don't want people to kind of enter on this video. I want them to enter on the original. And then it has the Xbox instructions if you want to get an extra entry or double your chance of winning. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.